Hello and welcome. In today's session, we are going to be looking at some key HR structures, and then we will look more closely onto the organization structure. We'll start by taking a look at a few slides and then go into the system to see how it all looks in a real SAP HCM system. So this slide shows you the important structures in SAP HR or HCM, Human Capital Management. You have the enterprise structure, the personal structure, and the organization structure. The SAP Human Resources software enables you to set up organizational hierarchies and employee relationships, and then store and administer employee data in the system. Each and every employee is included in this structure. Data entry is restricted via authorizations, and the validity of all employee data is checked. The structure of an enterprise are divided into organization structures that are based on an organization plan, and administrative structures, these two, that are based on the enterprise and personnel structures. The organization plan provides you with a complete model of the structural and personnel environment of your enterprise. Hierarchies and report structures are clearly laid out. The organization plan is the foundation of organization management, and we'll have a closer look at this within the system. The enterprise and personnel structures subdivide organizations and employees according to factors relevant to time management and payroll. These structures are stored in customizing. The enterprise structure for personnel administration is determined by the following elements: the client, company code, personnel area, and personnel sub-area. The client can either be valid for a company code at the smallest level or for the entire corporate group. The company code is defined in accounting. Legally required financial statements such as balance sheets and profit and loss statements are created at the company code level. The personnel area is used exclusively in personnel administration and is unique within a client. Each personnel area must be assigned to a company code. The final element of the company structure, also unique to personnel administration, is the personnel sub-area. Groupings are defined for personnel sub-areas to specify which entries from subsequent settings can be used for employees assigned to a particular company code or personnel area. These groupings directly or indirectly affect time management and payroll. For admin purposes, the employees in an enterprise are divided into two levels. The highest level is the employee group, and the second level is the employee subgroup. All control features of the personnel structure are defined at the employee subgroup level. So things like it allows you to define different payroll procedures for different employee subgroups. You can, for example, define different default values based on the employee subgroup, and so on. Payroll area represents an organizational unit used for running payroll. All employees who have payroll run for them at the same period are assigned to the same payroll area. Payroll accounting is generally performed for each payroll accounting area. The payroll accounting area provides the payroll driver with two pieces of information. One, the number of employees to be accounted, and two, the date of the payroll period. One thing you might like to keep in mind when doing the configuration is that an employee may only change payroll accounting areas at the end of a period. If an employee changes status from a wage earner to, say, a salaried employee in the middle of the month, and the payroll area is different for both, you should not enter the new payroll area until the start of the following month. The organization structure. You typically create your organizational plan using organization units as represented on the slide here and positions. An organizational plan is a comprehensive and dynamic model of the structural and personnel environment in your enterprise. This is mainly used to depict hierarchies within your plan and also the chain of command represented by individual positions and the reporting structure. So now that we've got a quick view of different elements that define the structures in SAP HR, let's have a look in the system and see how we deal. So we'll now log on to the system. So this is my HR IDIS and I press log on. I am user 16 for the purpose of this training. So this is the standard SAP Easy Access menu. Now we'll go to the organization management and try to create a few new positions, jobs, and recruit people as well. So we go to human resources, organization management, plan, staffing, and let's go to the change mode. So this is what my organization screen looks like. We'll be working with a company called Training International, which is the standard company used for IDIS training. I enter Training International, or I could just enter TR and a star. So perhaps let's try that, TR and star, and find. So I get a list of all the companies that start with TR. We'll be working with Training International. So this is what Training International looks like. Let me just reduce this a little bit. And I've got a managing director and various departments. Now I can go to the column configuration and look at a few other important details like the code, the ID, the org unit ID, and so on. So what I want to do is, under the financial accounting department, I want to create a few new units. Before I do that, however, I need to make these changes effective the beginning of the year. So I need to change this to 0101 and then execute. So now my changes are going to be valid from the beginning of the year. I'm user 16, so I'll go to the org unit 16 accounting, and currently, as you can see, there is nothing under this org unit. So I right click and create another org unit within this. So I'm going to split accounting into accounts payable and accounts receivable. So here's my new org unit. Let me just say 16 AP, which is 16 accounts payable, and I just save it. I get the message, data has been saved, and I just reduced the screen at the bottom so that I can look at the screen at the top a little better. So here is it, 16 accounting. Under that you have another org unit, 16 accounts payable, and now I will create another one called 16 account receivable. So the same as before, 16 AR this time, and then hit the save button. So again, data has been saved. So if we go to the main screen, we find that you have two additional units, accounts payable and accounts receivable. Now within these units I'm going to create some positions. Let's see how we do that. So now I go back and try to create some jobs. I go to my org unit 16, and now you can see there's an icon here which indicates that there is something underneath this org unit, and if I try to expand this, I get my two units that I've just created. Now under accounts payable I will create some positions. So I'll create a director position first. Let's see how to do that. I go to create, and this time the icon here indicates position, so we need to use this one. We are not creating a department now, we are creating a position. So just to show you, if you are confused with the icons, you can see the legend here. This is the icon legend and kind of shows you what each of the symbols mean. So currently we are dealing with a position, and this is the symbol for a position. So I want to create a director position, so let me just say 16 accounts payable director, 16 AP director. In terms of the job description, I can give that here. So we have some descriptions already defined, starting with 50, and I'm looking at a director position. There you go. Now I save it, and when I go back, I see that under my accounts payable I've got a director position. I will now create some additional positions, that of a manager and a clerk, and then assign some tasks to them. So I right click, create, incorporate, and this is going to be my manager, and I will use the same job description as earlier, in the sense from the same category. So this is my 50 manager. Save it. I've got a manager here, and now I create the clerk. And I press save. I've got these three positions. So we now assign the task complaint processing to the clerk. For that, I right click, go to task assignment, and if I scroll right, I've got the list of tasks, and there is complaint processing there, or already there. I may want to assign the customer service task to this clerk as well. So in that case, I simply say create, use the relationship is described by, and then I say customer service, and hit save. And that's my data saved. Now if I go back and financial accounting 16, AP clerk, go to task assignment, scroll right and look at the tasks. I should get customer service there along with complaint processing. So this is how you assign tasks to a position, and this is how you assign org units to other org units, and then positions to org units, and tasks to the position. So in a kind of a hierarchy. And now we will assign a person to this position. So the director for accounts payable is Catherine Camino. Let's right click here and assign. So the last name is Camino and the first name is Catherine, and I press enter and I see a big list. This is typical of an IDIS system. I need to choose the one ending with 16 because that's my group assignment. Let me just make it more clear. Yep, so 16 is here, and I select this and I press enter, and I'm presented with this action. Now this indicates that I am changing the HR assignment of Catherine. So I will just select the action change of position, and this starts on the 1st of the year. I say yes, and I have Catherine Camino occupying the position of AP Director starting from the 1st of the year. Now if you remember, a while back we had assigned some tasks to our AP clerk, and we had chosen the relationship is described by. Let us look in customizing and see how these relationships are defined for tasks and for positions. So we will now go to the IMG, which is SPRO transaction type. This is what the customizing IMG looks like. And we now need to go to personnel management, which is here. Under this we need to go to organizational management, basic settings, data model enhancement, relationship maintenance, and maintain relationships. So this screen essentially helps you define a relationship and which ones are allowed and which are not allowed. So if we select a specific entry 007 is described by, which helped us describe a relationship between a task and a position. And let us click allowed relationships for this and see. So if I scroll down to the task, here it is, tasks, describes, and position is indicated by the object type S. And if you see the drop down here and scroll down to S, S is the position. So this is where I define that I can create a relationship between a task and a position in customizing. I also have the reverse relationship, which is position is described by a task, and this is the one we used a while back when we defined the task for the position of the clerk. Now I would like to ask you a quick question, a typical interview slash certification question. Can a person hold a job in organizational management? The answer is no. A person cannot hold a job. A person can only be assigned to a position or a work center. And if we look in customizing, we go to maintain relationships, and the relationship 008 is the one that defines what a person can be assigned to or not. If I look at the allowed relationships in this case, I have a person P, and a person can be a holder of a position, which we saw earlier is denoted by S, and A is the work center. So person can be assigned to a work center A or a position S, but not to a task T. Before we go any further, let's do a quick recap on the different object types. SAP allows you to define a number of different object types, but the key ones are these: positions, persons, org units, jobs, and cost centers. And we've covered all of these in the discussion previously. In addition to this, there is another important object type, which is the work center, and that essentially describes the physical location where tasks are carried out. Some examples could be a plant, a branch office, or a specific room. So now we'll have a look at how we can create work centers using the expert mode. So we will now create a work center and assign a position to it using the expert mode. So I go to human resources and then organization management, expert mode, work center. I first need to create my work center object. I had another work center which I've deleted, so I'm doing this again, and I see a blank, which is as I expect to find it. The period has to be from the beginning of the year till the end of time. And the first thing I need to do is create my object, which is going to be my work center. So I will call it 16 work center, and the object name is 16 office. So I'm creating an office, and I will assign a position to it subsequently. Just hit on save, and my object is saved. Now I assign a relationship, and my relationship is going to be of type position. So the position will belong to the work center. I select position, and I need to find the ID, for which I will seek some assistance, and the ID is going to be, let me just move the screen. Yeah, so I'm going to search for a head position and head of department. So I've assigned my position, head of department, to my work center 16WC, which is an office, and all I need to do is save. So now my position has been successfully assigned to the new work center that I've just created using the expert mode. So I hope you enjoyed this session. There's a lot more, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.